She gently gathered up the sheer black stockings and slowly pulled it over her foot. The stockings centrally clung to her smooth skin and glided over her toned calves and then her thighs. She slipped her crimson polished fingernails beneath the top of her thigh-high and made sure it was snug. Gently, Maya stretched out her legs side by side and compared the evenness of her thigh-highs. Her black eyelash extensions undulated as she blinked a couple of times, playing in concert with her black eyeliner that she had expertly applied. Her lips were a vibrant, glistening red, an invitation to be kissed. She drew her right leg inward as her full, wavy black hair dangled about her, and she reached for the shiny black high heels that she was going to wear for the night. She slipped into them and leaned back as her red satin robe fell to her sides, showing her black lacy bustier and panties hugging her toned body. She clutched her hands together and placed them on her knees, and she let out a tired sigh under her breath. A knock came at the door, and she looked up. She asked for a moment as she pulled her robe together with the satin sash around her waist. "Come in," she said. The door opened, and with his burly hand still holding the doorknob, he couldn't help but cast an eye on the beauty sitting on the bench before him. He was a middle-aged white man with grayish hair cropped close to his sides and scalp. His face was leathered, and his eyes were a dull blue, a sea of gritty life experiences. His denim shirt was loose, showing a hint of a beer belly, and his faded jeans were frayed at the hems that crumpled over his brown leather boots. A holstered black gun clung to the right side of his weathered brown belt. She couldn't help but feel that he was undressing her with his eyes, and to break the moment, she politely asked, "Do we finally have a customer tonight?" The man's momentary distraction was broken, and he replied firmly, "Yeah, we got one. You're going to like this one. A dirty old Asian man for you," he said with a smirk. "And he asked for our youngest girl." Oh, great, she thought. Her previous customers had usually been white men looking for their submissive geisha fantasy, but now an Asian man was going to be her customer. It had to happen eventually. Men were men who needed to satisfy their sexual needs. "Okay, let's get this over with." "Okay, I'll get him in here. We'll be listening next door, so don't forget your earpiece and just give the word, okay?" he asked. "Will do," she said as he nodded and closed the door. Maya stood up, and with her 3-inch high heels, she stood at 5 feet 6 inches. With her delicate fingers, she gathered up the ends of the sash and drew them snugly against her waist as her robe slithered down to her mid-thigh. She looked down and teased apart her robe a bit, just to show a glimpse of her lacy bra along with a bit of cleavage. The ends of her black silky hair dangled past her shoulders as she brought her hand to her right ear to check her earpiece. She then looked up when the knock came. "Come in," she said gently, along with a fake seductive smile. The door opened slowly, and a middle-aged Asian man cautiously entered the room. With his slight frame, he wore a pair of jeans along with a wrinkled white collared shirt that was covered in a worn-out navy jacket. He turned away from Maya momentarily as he closed the door behind him before turning back to look at her. He had some wisp of gray in his hair, which was otherwise neatly parted from the side. But weariness filled the bags under his eyes, and time had etched wrinkles around his mouth. In her mind, Maya was disgusted, but she also felt a sense of pity for him. What was his deal, she wondered? Was he a restaurant worker just getting off his late shift? and wanted to get a masseuse to pleasure him, and then maybe a little more. But she shook off that thought and got back to business. "Hello there. What are you in the mood for tonight? A little party?" Maya said convincingly, with a seductiveness that would turn most men into jello. He simply stood his ground and looked at Maya up and down without any expression. A voyeur, she thought. She had to speed along the transaction, so she coyly smiled to disarm him and said, "Let me make you comfortable by taking your jacket." But as she took a step forward, he took a step backward and put his hand up nervously, warding her off. She stopped, taken aback by his gesture, and he coyly eased back. "Sorry," he uttered. But in that one word, a deep sense of shame could be felt. "I'm sorry to waste your time. You, not her." He placed his hand into the right front jacket pocket, and Maya instinctively placed her right hand on her earpiece and was prepared to utter something. A brown wallet came out, and he gently began to open it. She pursed her lips, the momentary sense of caution washed away as she realized he was only getting his money ready. With his short sentence, she started to profile him. Chinese, she thought. English as a second language, and not fluent. She could feel the transaction was about to be done, and this would close the deal on what would happen next. "You're a man of few words, I see, but money can do the talking. What would you like? A massage?" she asked politely. "Sorry. How much for your time?" he said quietly. "How much time do you want? 30 minutes? 1 hour?" she answered. No time. You, not her." A wave of confusion came over Maya. He was rejecting her, she realized. What the hell, she thought. Was she not seductively attractive to him? And what did he mean when he said, "You, not her"? But she was quick on her feet, and she solicited him again. "I can be anyone you want me to be. Who do you want me to be?" He looked at her with his sorrowful eyes as he placed a $20 bill on the dresser and simply said, "You, not my daughter." Maya was stunned by his answer as he grabbed the doorknob. She froze for a moment until the voice in her earpiece stammered with urgency. "Is it a go?" Maya didn't answer as the doorknob clicked, and again the voice pierced through the earpiece. "Did he show any money? Do we bust him?" The door opened as the hallway light silhouetted the Asian man's frame. She quickly placed her hand on her earpiece and said, "Baba, part of the Tamago Stories. Buy your copy from Amazon today to see what Maya stumbled onto. An original story by Vincent Yee."